Welcome, 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 and thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Journey of Courage with me, Krishan. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about marriage and divorce and how we see it in society and the things we do in our marriages and ultimately getting divorced. I recently signed my divorce decree. It's bittersweet. Nah, I'm one of those that prays dance all the way to the car. I'm sorry. I got married at 21. So for me, that was young. I feel like 21 is a young age to get married if you're not completely sure of yourself, if you're not completely sure of who you are. Of course, today my beliefs have changed and how I see marriage as well as divorce has changed. At 21, I honestly thought it was one and done. I still feel like it's one and done if I was to get married again. But I feel like you get married, that's it. No one is thinking to get divorced. You're thinking, once I get married, this is it. And I saw the red flags. We always see the red flags. I guess we try to see around them, see past them, see through them. The only thing you can do is when you see a red flag, you bring it to someone's attention and you know where your relationship go from there. Based on that first red flag, opening up your mouth to say how you feel about that red flag, and that person's response is basically how you know if you should move forward or move back. And me, I was pregnant at the time. I had already had children. So I assumed that's where I moved forward in my life at that point. Like, I put my finances with his finances and we'll live happily ever after. Sure enough, there was love. I loved him. I assumed he loved me as well. And I just felt like that what we would do at that point. Now, considering how I feel about love in life, I would have made a different decision. I appreciate the decision that I made because it made me who I am today. But as far as marriages and getting into marriages, we have to think about the decisions we are making when we're getting to a marriage. It seems like just a piece of paper because that's what people say, but it's actually tying your life to someone else's life. And it's a very serious thing that we take very lightly. We see people on Instagram and we see, oh, they married, they look happy, I'm gonna do it. Or just for our own selfish reasons of stability and looking good and being lonely and the sex is good. Like, there's multiple reasons to get married. But those same reasons are ultimate reasons why we get divorced. So I think going into a marriage, the first thing you want to do is you want to love yourself. You want to know who you are. You want to appreciate who you are. It's a lot into building your self-worth, especially if you had a rocky childhood or a childhood where you feel like you deserve certain things. For me, I feel like I deserved my marriage because I dropped out of school. I feel like you dropped out of school. You could be much more in life, but this is the life you deserve because you could have done better. And although I worked all the time, I feel like I done the best I could. I always try to be a good person. The self-worth in me felt like I deserved a abusive marriage, a marriage where I felt like I was verbally, physically, mentally abused. And a lot of the times, the people in my surroundings, not too many of the people around me, knew that I was being abused. And it's not something that I like to talk about. It's not something that I wanted to share. Not because of fear. I guess you could say it was a fear. Not because of fear of how I would get treated in my marriage, but fear of how I'll be perceived. I always wanted to be perceived as the good, the strong. Like, nope, I'm not weak. And although in my marriage I was weak, I was very weak. To the outside world, I wanted to perceive that I was more than what I actually was. So it was a very emotional time for me, an emotional time for my kids. For the people that around me that did know what I was going through, I didn't want to put my burdens onto them. I didn't want to put my problems onto the people that I loved. So I felt like, let me deal with this the way I know how to deal with it. And I didn't even know how to deal with it. But I feel like if I couldn't come to a solution, then how could anyone else come to a solution? And so it's why I'm very adamant on knowing yourself before you get married, or knowing who you are before you get married, and knowing who your spouse is before you get married. Of course, I saw the red flags in my spouse, but I assumed that, oh, we'll get married. I'll teach him how to love me. He'll teach me how to love. Like, it'll get better. Like, this is just for now. That's not the case how it works. If you see the red flags before you get in it, 9 times out of 10, it's only going to get worse when you get in it. So once I was married, and I guess I was trying to build a foundation with my family, I started to notice that my kids were suffering and I didn't know how to pull them out of the suffering. I feel like if I shelter them in some way or some form, that it would, like, I don't know what I was thinking at that age. So I want to tell people, women mostly, because a lot of times it's the women who are being abused. Not saying that men don't get abused in relationships, but women are, I feel like, more the weaker sex. And even though we come off so strong and so powerful, a lot of us have a lot of deep-rooted insecurities that we don't even realize that we have. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of looking in the mirror and appreciating exactly who you are. And every flaw that you think you have that necessarily not even could be a flaw. For me, it's my cock eyes, my gap lip, one of my legs is bigger than the other. It's so much that I feel like it's flawed. But when I look in the mirror, you got to love yourself. You have to love yourself, or you can get in damaging, toxic situations that bring down your value, your self-worth, and it takes time to build it back. You don't realize how much a person has brought you down until it's time to basically face those fears, to face the things that you've been dealt. So don't pretend. Try your best to be your authentic self, which is something I'm doing now. I'm working on me now after feeling like I've been through so much. I will not settle for anything less than being me. If I can't be me, if I can't express me to the fullest extent of I am, I feel like I'm lacking. Because I was so quiet and so, I guess, silenced and in the past, that I feel like I have to be who I am. I can't let anyone else take pieces of me or take something from me. So the next time I feel like I get into marriage, I would want to be sure, 100% sure, that this is my friend. Above anything else, this person is going to be there to, I guess, just catch me if I fall. Like, just be supportive. Because at the end of the day, you want a friend. You want, more than anything else, someone you can talk to. You can share your goals with, your dreams with. You can stay up all night and have a conversation with. You want those things. It's not just about what other people may perceive. Because you don't want to get into a marriage and end up miserable. I promise it's not fun. It's not fun at all. And don't force it. Like, if you feel like you're at an age in your life where you're ready to get married, you feel like you're comfortable, don't force it. If the person that you're with, you're in a relationship and they're not ready, you can't force them to be something that they're not ready for. It's only going to make your marriage miserable. Let it flow. If it might not, marriage is not even meant for everybody. We all think that we all have someone, and I think we do. But if you're not ready for marriage, no point in forcing it. You're going to end up miserable, and you're going to make somebody else miserable. And a lot of times, our families force us to stay inside of marriages that don't that don't benefit us, because we feel like we have to be able to take care of our families. Kids, for instance, we stay in marriages for our children. We stay in marriages for our parents because they feel like that will be best for us. But we have to demand more from the people that say they love us. They have to appreciate us more, show us that they appreciate us more by showing us integrity and loyalty. And if you're not going to understand me, at least attempt to understand me. Show me your love. Show me. Don't just tell me you love me. Don't just... Anybody can say I love you every day. You got people who get in relationships in a month. I love you. I love you. I love you. How? I mean, I guess it's, if you spend 30 days with somebody day in and day out, you can fall in love with them. I'm not saying there's a time stamp on love. I'm just know when it's superficial and when it's real. And sometimes you have to take a step back and look at yourself and wonder, are you giving everything that you're giving to get this in return? Are you being your authentic self? Are you giving love? Are you giving loyalty? Are you giving understanding and integrity? Or do you have those strong attributes that you look for in the person that you're trying to marry? Am I willing to do the things? Am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to compromise? And when you know you do, when you're that type of, when you evolve to that level where you know you carry those things and you know you are that person, you carry a certain elegance, a certain power. That's how I feel like I am. I feel like I would never settle for less than I deserve. I would never settle for less than I am. If a man needs more than me, he's just being greedy. In my opinion, you're just being greedy because I know I'm more than enough. I know what I strive for. I know what I strive to be. And when you know that and you're confident in that, you're secure in that, you're not going to accept anything less than that. So it's kind of like not a cocky thing. It's just a for sure. I'm not cocky in who I am, but I'm just for sure in who I am and what I bring to the table. But don't let your need to be too high. Don't let it be where you're too high, where you think so much of yourself, where you can't find love, or you can't get love, or you can't be with somebody else, or no one wants to be with you because you just think you're just top notch, you top of the line. And even though you are, we still humble. We still know that the same way we could be at the top of the mountain, we can fall and hit the bottom just as fast as we made it to the top. So I feel like if you be that person in life that knows right from wrong and choose to do right, as well as a person that knows their worth and choose not to let anyone else take from it or dim their light. So moving forward, now that I'm divorced, well, I'm waiting. I call every day. Every day I call and say, hey, just signed yet? Oh, no? Okay, I'll call back tomorrow. I haven't made my call yet for today, but it's coming. It's coming. So now it's like dating after divorce, getting into relationships after divorce, loving after divorce. A lot of people don't get divorced. They move into relationships and whatever, build from there and still be married. For me, it's just my energy. I have to take my energy back. I have to give you your name back. I want to be strong in who I am and knowing that you're moving on your life with your name and I'm moving with my name, because I feel like the older I get, my name means more and more to me. So it's a thing like that I think about when I think about getting married again. Will I take on my next husband's name? I know, right? Am I thinking too far ahead? Like, of course I will get married again, but I'm not trying to get married tomorrow, of course. But those things that we think about when we're just naturally thinking. Now that I'm so anxious to get my name back, will I be as anxious to take another man's name if I fall so deeply in love that, yeah, I guess I'll, or will I be like, no, I'm keeping my name, or will I hyphenate, or, trivial things like that, like having my own identity. How do I want to stick with it? How would you stick with it? Like if you were to get back out there and you're loving again, you fall in love, and you meet this guy, he wants to get married, and you at a crossroad, like, this person brought me down so much, I don't know. And I guess it all comes back to self-worth, because if you're so sure of yourself and you're sure in this marriage, I guess you would do whatever feels right in that moment. So no point in really just jumping ahead to look forward to see what would you do if that happened. If you get to a point where you're just absolutely in love with someone, I guess you'll be eager to take their name. So I just want to also reiterate to, when getting back out there, don't be afraid. Like, if you've been divorced, don't be afraid to fall in love again, because now that that the first thing didn't work out, you're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of, is this person going to do to me what the last person done? If we all keep that mindset, we'll never find someone that truly loves us, because sometimes everyone don't know how to love like you feel. We don't have the same ideas, the same values. So you have to teach someone to love you the way you feel like you deserve to be loved. You have to, show them, like I said earlier, you got to, when you see a red flag, you see an issue, talk to someone, tell them how you feel about them, communicate. And be okay with loving someone and not getting loved in return. Because a lot of us, we feel like, they not doing this for me, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not doing this. A lot of people don't know how. I don't know how to give you what you want. I wasn't raised with that. I wasn't raised with hugs. I wasn't raised with love. My parents didn't say, mine did. I'm very thankful for my parents for telling us, I love you all the time. I tell my kids, we in competition of who love each other the most. And so I'm one of those people where, if I love you, I'm going to tell you. If you're my friend and I love you, I'm going to tell you. And we should do that more. We should be okay with expressing love. Love shouldn't be fear. There's no way love and fear should be the same. So if you're in love, you're not afraid. So that's something to keep in mind when you're moving forward in relationships. I'm definitely, that's one of my things I'm learning. So, and also when you're moving forward in a marriage or a new relationship after getting divorced, and how do you take your children into that? Like, so a lot of times we think about our kids, like, is a new person going to perceive our children well? Are our children going to, and then a lot of us, we push our counterparts, our new relationships on our kids, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think, if my children are, I can't push someone on my children. I can't push my children on, like, oh, you should call them daddy, or you should raise my kids like they're your stepchildren, or anything. That I think those things should come natural. I don't think we should just force our kids to call the person we're dating, or even the person we married, dad. Like, if a kid, if they feel that connection, let them feel that connection on their own. That's just my opinion. You do what you want in your household. My kids are old enough to say what they do and don't want, and trust me, they make sure their opinions are very well known. So I don't think I have an issue with that. But just for those of us with those of you, because I don't have a child under 12. So those are with young kids. You want to think about who you bringing into your life, and the impression that they're making on your young children, even teenage children. I'm all for the children, so we have to look out for our children, ours and others that can't pay attention to their children like they want to. So, all in all, on this episode, I just wanted to say, enjoy life. Do not rush it. Do not force it. If your marriage is not what it is and not what you want it to be okay with leaving it. Be okay with starting over again. It does not hurt to start over. There's much more than to life. And we all have different religions and different beliefs. Don't let yours restrict you from being who you are. At the end of the day, God wants you to be your authentic self, who you are as you are. Don't let anyone or anything restrict you from being you. And that is all I have. Follow me on Instagram at Christian_Lachelle. And my business page, The Vegan Experience. Follow my YouTube channel, like, comment, subscribe. I have a lot of new things coming. I have merchandise. I will put my website in the footnotes, and I hope everyone have a beautiful and lovely day. Thank you.